Previously on Automotive Tales.
So, this is a new one on me. Ignition on. Automatic headlights, automatic wipers, defective. Nothing happening. It did this morning because I had an iced up windscreen. I cleared the windscreen and it was fine. Now I have no wipers at all. What the hell? So if it did it this morning and then cleared the code, it can't be a blown fuse. So it's obviously a software or a sensor glitch of some sort. But like, what sort of sensor glitch do you need to fail to have working wipers? It's sort of an essential, which is marginally annoying. Now, apparently it's something to do with this sensor up here, but it's a bit inconclusive what I can find online. So I've had the mirror off, but everything seems to be okay here. And I prodded at the damn thing up here and it's not made any difference. So now, well, it's a good job it's actually quite a nice sunny day, and I'm waiting for my click and collect, because otherwise I'd have a big problem getting home. Bloody Audi. So on reflection, I think I know what the problem with the Audi might be. So you'll see I've taken the mirror off and there's this little sort of drop shaped piece on here. Well, this here, which you know you can't see because the sunlight coming in from the other side, is a rain sensor. And this, if you look from the other side, is attached to the window and there's like a gel bit that goes in under here. Now what you can see is there's lots of air between that gel and the glass. So the fact that it functioned and stopped functioning and then functioned and then stopped functioning again suggests the actual sensor is okay, but maybe it's just this gel that's at fault. Now when I came out earlier there was like a half moon shape of air underneath. I've pushed it and prodded it a few times. Now I've got this other weird shape. So that's probably the issue. So I'm going to order a new gel because they're about 10 quid for these gels. Take the whole thing apart and seat it back on the glass and see whether we can get it to work again. Effectively, if you're not familiar with these, there's like a little LED here that transmits, I guess, it's a wavelength of light that we can't see, and then it reflects off the glass, and these sensors here pick up that reflection. But when there's water on the surface of the glass here, it changes the time it takes for that light to get back to the sensor, because it changes the refractive index at the point of contact between the glass and the water, and it uses that difference in time between the flash and the receiving of the light to work out whether there's rain falling on the sensor here. I think it also acts, maybe the circle in the middle there acts as the light and dark sensor that then runs the automatic headlights. So really clever little piece of kit, actually, to be honest. But yeah, it's no good if it's not permanently connected to the glass, because that affects the refractive index between the sensor, the light, and the glass, which is what it functions on. So yeah, clever little thing, but very easily becomes problematic. And actually, in reality, the first time I had this problem was when it was frosty. So that sort of makes sense. If there was a frost and we had some really bright sunlight like today, it went from frosty to quite warm in the car very quickly. And maybe that change in temperature is what's caused this to become unseated. Apparently a relatively common, if a little tricky, issue to diagnose. Okay, so this is the little sensor, and you can see the remnants of the gel pack in my hands here. And you can sort of make out the little bits of sensors. You'll see where I've got a thumbprint on there. That will all need cleaning, assuming there's nothing wrong with the sensor. That's the part number if anybody's interested. Sometimes these do suffer from a short. I also need to clean the remains of this. You see part of the gel is still on the windscreen, so that's all got to come off. Get that squeaky clean before the new gel goes on. They're not very expensive. They're a couple of pounds, these little gels. I don't recommend getting the £2 or £3 one. They're cheap Chinese. One, they take weeks to arrive, which is annoying because it disables this function for quite a long time. But also they tend to be a bit harder when you want quite a nice, soft, pliable, which this still is. This hasn't actually set hard, which is what I was expecting to find. I think it's just broken down slightly, and maybe this had come slightly loose, and that's what's caused as the air bubble. So yeah, dead easy to get out. There's a little metal clip, so you can probably see that on the dashboard here. You just prise that out from the bit that's glued to the windscreen, which you still can't see because of the daylight. It's a bit overexposed, but yeah, it should be a fairly easy fix. if a little frustrating. I am a little bit concerned that I have no wipers rather than just a lack of automatic wipers. So it might well be that this little unit has actually shorted out and has blown a fuse. So I'm going to leave this disconnected. I'm going to put it back in so I don't lose it, but leave it disconnected and just check the fuses. If it's popped a fuse, I'll replace the fuse. Right, let's go find the fuse box. Okay, rain sensor fuse, 5 amp, number 2 on the red carrier. Looks okay. So it looks like we've not blown a fuse. I'm going to check a few more bits and pieces up here, but so far so good. So I need to just check the wiper fuse, which is a bit further up here somewhere. But yeah, this is promising, although a little confusing.
A few moments later.
Right, you join me back in the Audi. I haven't really much progress, or certainly not any positive progress. I tinkered a bit more yesterday. I tried to get at the wiper motor, because one of the things that can fail is the wiper motor. Not the actual mechanism, but some of the electronics inside it. So I thought, well, to get to that, I need to take the panel off that's under the windscreen, and to do that, I need to take the wipers off. So I unbolted the wipers, and could I get them to come off the spindles? Could I hell? So after a while of messing around and with the light fading, I thought, sod it, I will put it back together. I tried to bolt the bolt back on the wiper, and as you've probably noticed, I am holding said bolt, which still has part of the spindle in it. So there was quite a lot of rust, it would appear, on the thread. I hadn't really applied enough lubricant to it, and as I tightened it back up, it sheared the spindle. Ooh, there's a life lesson in there somewhere. So now my passenger side wiper arm, while it won't come off, that I can make it come off at least anyway, without using a gear puller, is no longer actually physically connected to the car with anything other than rust. So I need a new wiper mechanism now, which is fun. So it's probably a good job I wasn't filming, because there was a large number of expletives used at that point in time. As the car is now definitely not usable in any form of wet weather, even if I could get the wipers to come back online, which I can't. So I think I updated this yesterday, but I checked all the fuses. I've taken the sensor out. In theory, if it's a failed sensor, one of a couple of things should happen. Unplugging the sensor should allow the wipers still to operate on manual, which they do not, which suggests there's no power going to the wiper motor whatsoever, which would suggest a fuse. So I checked all of the fuses. That is not the problem, hence going after the wiper motor. So I guess I need to get the wiper assembly out, make sure I've got the right part number, order a new one. They're not hideously expensive, they're about 150 quid, and then put it all back together and see whether the new motor will actually fix the problem. So for now, I have put everything back together just so I don't lose the parts. So I put the sensor back on, plugged everything in, and I just can only use it when it's not raining for now, which is, well, not very often in the UK. Bugger. So I've had a call from S-Line, who are looking at the Audi, and it is actually the motor unit that has failed. It's not the motor itself. One of the things that can happen is the wiper motor seizures, or the mechanism seizures. None of those apply, but it's the control unit that's built into the motor. So the fact that I broke the spigot that holds on the wiper is actually not going to cost me any more than I originally anticipated. So that's good. But it does mean £440 plus VAT for a new wiper motor with all the linkage. In the meantime, however, I am commuting in the little Renault Sport, and I can tell you there's nothing greater than a little blast down some country roads with this pocket rocket of a thing. 172 PS, what's that, 168 horsepower in something the size of a shoebox. It's great. And as you can hear, it's just ticking itself cool, because we may have had a slightly frenetic drive home. Right, and we're not going to see the Audi for a few days, so I'm going to enjoy driving the little Clio. If you want to know more about the Clio, well, hopefully we're going to do a little valeting video on the car. So it is generally quite clean, but it's been outside and inside and outside a few times. So it's not quite just right. It's had a pressure wash. I've done the headlights. The headlights have already started to fade again. So we're going to put it in for a proper valet and see what it comes up like. So I think this thing is going to look amazing when it's actually properly clean. Right, on to the next job. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching.
Next time on Automotive Tales.
Okay, exciting times. It is Starman Day, so I am just going to check the oil. I've just turned the power back on to the Duchess, and we are heading up to Nottingham to see Dwayne and Carl at Starman's.